All right, today we're doing something a little different, something pretty special. We're going to hear a story straight from the past, from a 19th century pioneer named Samuel Vaux. We've actually been able to piece together his life, pretty much in his own words, all thanks to the detailed records he left behind. So just think about it for a second. What if you could actually ask someone like that about their life? What drove them to cross an ocean? What were they afraid of? And what, at the end of the day, did they value the most? Well, today we get some answers as we walk through the life of Samuel Vaux, a guy who saw America transform right before his eyes. Okay, so our story kicks off in the 1830s. Samuel Vaux is just a young man over in Somerset, England. He's one of 10 kids, and his family makes this huge, life-altering decision. They're going to leave everything they've ever known and head for a new world. And the big question is, why? You can really feel the push and the pull here, can't you? Back in England, opportunity was just so limited, and trying to support a huge family was a constant struggle. But the stories they were hearing about America, they painted a picture of a completely different world. A world with tons of fertile farmland, just waiting. It was a chance to own something real, to build a life from a totally blank slate.
And there it is, straight from the man himself. It all came down to the land. For a working-class family in England at that time, owning property, that was basically an impossible dream. But in America, it felt real. It felt possible. And that one single promise was powerful enough to get them to cross an entire ocean.
So the Vaux family makes the journey and lands in Erie County, New York. And for a young immigrant, just 21 years old, the first step in building a new life isn't just about finding land. It's about starting a family.
It's in Aurora, New York, that he meets Marianne Underhill. Now, she wasn't an immigrant like him. Her family had been in America for generations. So this was really a union of the old world and the new. They got married young, and that kicked off a partnership that would last for over 4 decades of just incredible change and unbelievable challenges.
He saw his wife as so much more than just a partner. She was his guide, his connection to this brand new culture. She's the one who taught him about the land, the community, and really the American way of life. That partnership became the rock, the foundation for everything he would go on to achieve.
But here's the thing about Samuel. He wasn't just a hard worker. The guy was smart, a really savvy investor. He got that success wasn't just about how much you sweat. It was about having the foresight to see a good opportunity and then having the guts to act on it. A perfect example is his first big land deal.
Okay, get this. In 1845, he buys a 53-acre farm in Aurora, and the price tag, $795. Now, that was a huge investment for him, but it was one he made only after he'd really studied the land himself. And here's the payoff. Just 8 years later, he sells that exact same farm for $1,500. He practically doubled his money. Right from the start, he was thinking like a businessman, not just a farmer.
And this right here, this really gets to the heart of his entire philosophy. He was always looking at the long game. He understood that the real wealth wasn't just in the crops you grew, but in the growing value of the land itself. And that kind of thinking is what fueled his family's journey for the next few decades. So that sale back in New York, that wasn't the finish line. Nope, it was the starting gun. It funded the next huge chapter for the Vaux family, that relentless push to the West. A story that pretty much defines the whole American pioneer experience.
Just look at this timeline. It really maps out their incredible journey. From New York, they head out to Wisconsin, chasing richer soil. From there, it's on to Missouri, which is where they had their biggest financial success. And finally, they settled down in Kansas, mostly to be closer to their kids in their later years. 4 states. Each one was a new beginning.
But they weren't just wandering around aimlessly. Samuel describes every single move as a calculated decision. They were always on the hunt for better land, better markets, and a better future for their 6 kids. It was a constant strategy of leveling up. But, a life of constant striving like that, it wasn't without its heartbreak. The frontier could give you so much, but it could also take it all away. In his later years, Samuel really reflected on his successes, his deepest losses, and the legacy he was hoping to leave behind. In 1876, they were hit with just an unthinkable tragedy. They lost their youngest son, Amos, to typhoid fever. He was only 22 years old. It was just this brutal reminder that no amount of success, no amount of land could protect them from the harsh realities of life back then. And that was the tough lesson of pioneer life, wasn't it? It teaches you to be resilient, for sure, but it also teaches you that every single day you have with the people you love,
is a gift, because absolutely nothing was ever guaranteed.
So after a lifetime of this, what did he learn? When people asked him for advice, he boiled it down to these 5 principles. First, walk the land yourself. Second, be careful with debt. Third, diversify what you're doing. Fourth, build a good reputation. And fifth, always be thinking about the next generation. This is wisdom that was forged in some serious hardship.
And you know, in the end, this is what it all came down to. After all the land deals, all the moves across the country, all the backbreaking work, he measured his life's true worth not by what was in his bank account, but by the family that he and Marianne built together. His real legacy was his children and their children.
Samuel's world was built on tangible things, soil, crops, a physical frontier. His American dream was built on land, family, and just sheer perseverance. And it kind of leaves us with a final question to chew on. Almost 150 years later, what are the building blocks of that same dream today?